Good morning, middle school. So, I believe after today we have one more lesson. Now, about these videos that I'm doing, you guys should be watching the videos before you take the quiz. And it's pretty obvious that some of you guys are just taking the quiz. There were only 10 views on this video, so I have 27 students. The math doesn't add up. Someone's not watching. There's no reason for you all to fail these Google Form quizzes, especially when you can actually have another tab open. I didn't block that. You shouldn't be failing these quizzes. You can watch these videos as many times as you need to get the work done. So please don't sit there and just do the quiz. Watch the video so you can pass the quiz. Okay, let's start. So we're going to do a quick review. So we're going to review a staff, which is 5 lines and 4 spaces. Remember, we start from the bottom and work our way to the top when we are numbering our staff. We went over notes, which were the ovals we used to represent pitches, and we went over the musical alphabet, which is the first 7 letters of the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Then we learned about how to draw a treble clef. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to start at line 5 and draw a lazy J going past line 1. Then you're going to draw a P starting at line 5, then ending on line 3, and then a 6 starting on line 3 and circling around line number 2. Then we talked about the sentence that we use for the lines, which is every good boy does fine, and the word that is spelled out with the spaces, which is face, F-A-C-E. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to underline the first letter of each word in this sentence, and then I'm going to put the notes on the staff. E is on line number 1, G is on 2, B is on line 3, D line 4, and F line number 5. So then I'm going to switch to the spaces. I'm going to underline each letter and then put them on the staff. So F is space 1, A is space number 2, C space 3, and E space number 4. Next thing we talked about were ledger lines, which are short lines that extend the range of the staff for when notes are either too high or too low to be written on the staff. Let's go back up. So we're going to add the first note that we learned about when we were talking about ledger lines, which was D as in dog, which goes directly under the first line. There it is. Then the next note we talked about where we actually used a ledger line was middle C. Now that we know where middle C is, you guys are going to watch me fill in the rest of the staff. Moving right along to what we did last lesson, which was bass clef. So to draw a bass clef, you're going to put a dot on line 4. Then you're going to draw a half a heart that must touch line 5 and go all the way down to line 1. Then you're going to put a dot in space number 3 and a dot in space number 4. The sentence we use for the lines in bass clef is good boys do fine always. For the spaces, the sentence that we used was all cows eat grass. So, G goes on line 1, B line 2, D line 3, F line 4, and A on line number 5. A goes on space 1, C space 2, E space 3, and G in space number 4. So let's get into some of the lower notes. Before G is the letter F. Then we got into our first note that required a ledger line, which was E as in Edward. So now I'm going to fill in the rest of the notes on the staff. time for the new information. So, the grand staff is treble and bass staves, and staves is plural for staff. Treble and bass staves connected together by a line and a brace. Here's what it looks like. You have your treble clef, then bass clef. You draw a line from the top all the way down to the bottom. Then you add a brace. And this is the grand staff. So now we're going to put notes on this nice big staff. So I'm going to put a ledger line in the middle. And guess what goes there? Middle C. And it's called middle C because it is in the middle of the grand staff. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is put the lines in for treble clef, and then I'm going to put in the lines for bass clef. So E, G, B, D, F is for treble, and G, B, D, F, A is for bass. Next is the spaces. You have F, A, C, E for treble, and then A, C, E, and G for bass clef. I've drawn in all the ledger lines that we're going to be using for today. And all you have to do is just watch me fill in the notes. So I did this a little differently than how I usually would do it. But this time I decided to fill in all the lines first in blue, and then I went back and filled in all the space notes in red. So I finished. So you have an assignment to do in this video. What you're going to do, you are going to draw on some paper your own grand staff. You have to draw it just like how I did it. You have to label the notes just like how I did it. 3 lines above treble clef with the middle C, and then 3 lines below bass clef. Make sure you put in all of the letters. You do not have to use different colors. And when you're done, take a picture of it, upload it through Google Classroom when you're about to turn in your assignment for the Google form. So you have 2 assignments. This is the first one, and then you have a Google form. That's your second assignment. However, the Google form is not going to be as long as the other one. It's going to be shorter. So that's it.